It is so wonderful to see you all here this morning. Welcome to Sunday morning at Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We're so pleased and thrilled that you're all here. If we have some new people and you may be a little nervous as to whether or not you're supposed to be here, let me tell you categorically, you're in the right place and you are where you are supposed to be. It is my great pleasure this morning. Normally I come up and say good morning, remind you to turn your phones off, which I don't know why I have to do that. It's 2024 after all. Normally I would sit down and play a lovely prelude for you. This morning I get the privilege of coming out and sitting and listening to Grace and Christine, two sisters who have been playing together for quite a while, and they are 56 years. That's kind of amazing. And we are very, very pleased and glad to welcome them here this morning.
Oh, our slides are well in different places right now. Our opening words are from the Reverend Dana Warsnop. I want to be with people. You know, often people say that they love coming to a place with so many like-minded people. And I know just what they're getting at, and I know they aren't getting it quite right. Because I don't want to be with a bunch of people who think just like me. I want to be in a beloved community where I don't have to think like everyone else to be loved, to be eligible for salvation. I don't want to be with people who I do want to be with people who value compassion and love and justice and truth, though they have different thoughts and opinions about all sorts of things. I want to be with independent-minded people of good heart. I want to be with people who have many names and no names for God. I want to be with people who see me in my goodness and my dignity, but also see my failings and my foibles and love me anyways. I want to be with people who feel their interdependence with all existence and let it guide their footfalls on our earth. I want to be with people who see life as a paradox and don't always rush to solve it. I want to be with people who let their faith call them to be different in the world. I want to be with people who support, encourage, and even challenge each other to higher and more ethical living. I want to be with the people who inspire one another to follow the call of the Spirit. I want to be with people who covenant to be honest and engaged and kind, and who strive to keep their promises and hold me to mine. I want a people who give themselves, give all of their hearts and their minds and their gifts. I want to be with people who know that the human community is often warm and generous, sometimes challenging, and always a grand adventure. In short, I want to be with people like you. Now, I don't know about you all, but I am relieved with a little bit of trepidation that it is here. I mean, it's been long, and often heated these last months. There have been storms, unpredictable, unprecedented storms. And it seems like it just isn't going to end. I can't even walk out my front door without seeing the signs and feeling it, right? And so I am so glad that it is here, the cool autumn weather. Right? Oh, if you thought I was thinking about the election, that too. Because what we have gone through this last summer, the long, lingering heat, a deluge, yes, of monsoons that happened to pop out one of our skylights, but also a deluge of misinformation and lies and hate. We have weathered that, and we will weather this too. We will weather it as one people, warmly supporting, generously challenging, and working together in our shared values. And so that's what we're going to recognize today on the cusp of an election on this beautiful, crisp, and somewhat damp autumn morning. We're going to recognize democracy and bringing joy. We're going to recognize creating connections, our Unitarian Universalist heritage, and we're going to recognize how it is that we go into the unknown. We're going to harvest these today with gratitude, thanking one another for bringing them to life. It's the same kind of gratitude we express each week to our welcomer team, who today has tried to make sure that everyone has a plastic name tag. And if you don't, we have supplies yet to make you one. We want to make sure, even a temporary one today. Our audiovisual team that's behind the camera, hosting Zoom, and ensuring that we can see and that we can hear. and we can reach out to those at home. Let's give a wave to everyone who is at home joining us virtually, whether it is right now via Zoom or in the future watching this recording. We thank individuals too, like Grace and Christine. Thank you. We thank individuals like Robin, who is our pastoral associate and co-leader today, like Chris, our music director, like Tay, our engagement coordinator, like Miss Stacy, and each of our kids who are joining us for a portion of our service today to help us hand out something that you're going to need these plastic name tags for. It takes all of these individuals working together to bring our Sunday services to life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are here among people who have given generously of their time and their talents and the gifts right now. And we are all within that secular faith community, and together we will face boldly and with clarity all that is to come. We are ready.
Good morning. This morning we light our chalice with words by the Reverend Kenneth L. Patton, a piece called We Arrive Out of Many Singular Rooms. Now this is a responsive reading, so I will start, and then the words that you are to say should appear on the screens like magic. All right. We arrive out of many singular rooms, walking over the branching streets. We enlarge our voices in common speaking and singing. Our eyes reclaim the remembered faces. Their voices stir the surrounding air. This is the reason of cities, of homes, of assemblies in the houses of worship.
We are here assembled, a gathering of individuals in the practice of a secular faith community. Each of us brings all that we feel, all that we know, everything that we experience, all that you are. And that's our invitation, to come as you are in goodness and in dignity, with your failings and your foibles, because with our love as a guide, we will hold you. And so we renew our commitment to each other each week in a ritual of water and of stones, so that we might celebrate the joys and comfort the sorrows we endure as one faith community. And so we pour out water that we have gathered from Sonoran skies, water that we have gathered from our travels and from our homes. And then we add stones. Stones for sorrow and stones for joy, stones for fear and stones for hope, stones for enduring calmness and flashes of anger in storms that occur and that we weather. Sometimes we name them, if you have invited us to do so, and other times we add stones because, you want to try one? Yeah, you're welcome to. Because we know that there is so much more that we hold together. Please do. Because there is so much more between joy and sorrow, between fear and hope, between calm and anger. It's really the place that we live in between, and so let's add more stones for all of that.
Y'all want to help?
Yeah, come on. Thank you. Now, later this month, you will have the opportunity to come and to put in a stone and name it for yourself. We'll do that later in a full service, open mic, joy and sorrow sharing. But for now, this is our way to recognize as a congregation, we hold one another. We hold one another in celebration and in comfort and in everything in between. Our pastoral care committee is listening. And in particular this week, they are listening very, very intently. If you are feeling joyful this week, exuberant, we want to hear about it. But if you're feeling stressed and afraid, we want to hear that as well. Together, we can respond individually, as pastoral care often does, or we can respond as a congregation, as you will be learning that we have planned to do this entire week. So please, let us know. Let us know what is happening in your life, because this is why we gather. This is the reason for a secular faith community like ours. This is how we are one people, engaging, loving, and transforming our future. May it be so as we choose it together.
And one of my absolute favorite ways to come together as a community is, you guessed it, singing. I would appreciate it very much if you would rise as you are able and see fit, and join us in singing. It's hymn number 349 out of our Singing the Living tradition, Gray Hymnal. The copies are always available on the shelf just outside, and as always, the words will be available on the screen. Join us in singing. You'll have an opportunity to do more of that later this week.
We gather together in joyful thanksgiving, acclaiming creation whose bounty we share. Oh, sorrow and gladness we find now in our living. We sing a hymn of praise through the life that we bear. We gather together to join in the journey, confirming, committing our passage, a true affirmation in joy and tribulation. We sing and hope, then we are free.
We are a people grateful for democracy. As Unitarian Universalists, we prize the system of decision-making that gives one vote to each person. We use this system here to govern our congregation, approve our budgets, and elect our leaders. And yet, even more than that individual empowerment, the meeting of our institutional needs, we cherish a culture of democracy that honors diversity, equity, and inclusivity. Of course, here in the United States, we derive a system of democracy from the ancient Greeks. And yet, I have always suspected that we have modeled our culture of democracy after the Haudenosaunee peoples. The Haudenosaunee with the indigenous peoples who still live between the Atlantic Ocean and the Great Lakes, dwelling there long before European colonists came to their shores. Back then, they were thousands strong, several tribes who shared a single language. And it's well known that they offered those colonists many gifts despite receiving few in return. Today, they are known as the Six Nations. Like the Thana, Otham, and Yaqui peoples in the desert here where we live, the Haudenosaunee have never ceded their lands, nor abandoned their traditions, like their culture of democracy that existed long, long before our country was ever founded. Historian Howard Zinn notes in his People's History of the United States who they were in the past, but it's who they are today, so I have reconjugated some of his verbs just to make it a little more present. Their culture is complex. The relations among men, women, and children and nature are more beautifully worked out than perhaps anywhere else in the world. They were a people without a written language, but with their own laws, their poetry, their history kept in memory and passed on in an oral vocabulary far more complex than Europe's, in traditions and ceremonies and drama. They continue to pay careful attention to the development of personality, the intensity of will, independence and flexibility, passion and potency, and to the partnership with one another and with nature. It's widely speculated that the Haudenosaunee culture of democracy is what inspired American culture, more than anything else that the Europeans brought, just as parts of their system of democracy inspired the framers of our Constitution to take up the separation of powers. This is a democracy practiced intimately, with decisions made by a people who can look at each other, who can talk to each other, who can argue together, but can do so as a unified group. And that has a different tenor, doesn't it? A different texture, a different feel than what we are experiencing in democracy right now. And yet that's what we aspire to here. Can you feel that difference for just a moment? A culture of democracy, more than just a system. With children and women and men bound together in a community of care, not guided by common thoughts, but of different opinions and ideas that come together to celebrate and to comfort and to love alike. Here at MVUU, we are grateful to each of you who has brought this culture of democracy to life through your choices and your actions here, and yes, also out in our world during this election season, because I have no doubt that's what many of you have been doing. So in that gratitude that we would recognize and thank one another, I want to invite you to stand in a moment if you hear something that applies to you, and remain standing if you have shown up and lived out this culture of democracy by campaigning for a cause or a candidate. Just stand where you're at. By making calls. Maybe on a part of a campaign, but maybe it's just reaching out to friends and saying, you got a plan to vote? How about canvassing door to door? Serving as a poll worker? Being trained as a de-escalator? I want you to remain standing, please, if you will. Finding the means to defend democracy. And if you have already voted or you plan to vote, please rise. You have brought a culture of democracy of equity, of diversity, and of inclusion to life. And so we want to give you one of these. And the kids, you're going to help me. Grab a bunch of these. You take this group. You take this group. You take this group here. They'll help you. They want one. No, you don't have to worry about it. Go ahead, go. And you take that group. Ready? Go. Go, hand them out. Yeah, just give them to everybody who's standing. Everybody, they're going to want one. And as soon as you get one, you can sit down and figure out how you're going to attach it to the bottom of your name tag, because you tear that off and it's sticky. Yeah, keep passing them out. Let's make sure everybody gets one. Oh, that's one way to do it. Yep. Let's go over here. See these folks over here? They want some. Right here. Just hand them one. They only get one of each. Yep, there you go. There you go. There you go. All right. Well done. Well done. Yeah. As we are finishing this together, I want to just say one last time, thank you. You have blessed us. You have blessed us with your passion for democracy. Look at each other. Look around the room. You have blessed each other with your passion for democracy. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
It'll turn on in a second.
Okay. Go ahead. All right. I'd like to personally invite you to spend the evening of Election Day together. Come and be with people who share your desire to de-stress and celebrate the end of the campaigns. You can watch the early returns with others, listen to music, dance, and play games. It's free, and all are welcome. This is a potluck dinner, but beverages and snacks will be provided. Sign-ups are in the Oasis today, as well as through the online link in the newsletter article. There are also sign-ups for setup, cleanup, and for which dish you will bring. The more people that help, the easier it'll be. Setup will be at 4 p.m. on Election Day. The celebration begins at 6, and dinner is served at 6:30. By the way, if you still have Halloween candy left over, bring it to the party. That way you won't have to finish it off all by yourself. We have, at current count, 80 people signed up. It's going to be a good time, and we hope to see you there.
Once again, let's sing and be together in community. Rise, as you will, number 322 in the hymnal, Thanks Be for These.
Thanks be for these, life Thanks be for these, for birth and death, life in between with meaningful. Holy becomes the quickened breath. We celebrate life's interval. Thanks be for these ennobling art. Images welcome to our sight. Music caressing ear and heart, inviting us to laughter hide. Thanks be for these who question why, who noble motives do obey, those who know how to live and die, comrades who share this holy way. Thanks be for these we celebrate, sing and rejoice, our trust declare, press all our faith into our fate, bless now the destiny we share.
We are grateful for bringing joy. Now, unlike fleeting pleasure or momentary happiness, joy is a deliberate practice. It's a commitment to seeing light even when darkness surrounds us. As Unitarian Universalists, we recognize the power of joy as a healing force that connects us. It binds our community and reaffirms our shared humanity. Bringing joy in difficult times can feel like a radical act. It is a defiance of despair and a reminder that life still holds beauty no matter our circumstances. Now, Christopher Reeve was most widely recognized for playing Superman, and after a devastating accident left him paralyzed in 1995, in the face of unimaginable limitations, he became a beacon of resilience and a Unitarian Universalist. Now, he refused to be defined by his disability, and he chose to redefine what was possible for himself and for others, not by focusing on his loss, but on what he could still bring to the world. Reeve said, "I believe we're all one family and need each other in times of grief and gladness. And I believe in the power of human ingenuity and people of goodwill to make a difference in the world. This is my credo as a Unitarian Universalist. It's what Superman and I have in common." And through advocacy, humor, and deep compassion, he found joy in connecting with others. His words remind us that joy is not dependent on circumstance, but it is a choice we can make every day. Especially in moments of struggle, creating joy becomes essential, not only for ourselves, but for those around us, as joy has a way of spreading. Let us pause. Take a deep breath. Feeling gratitude for moments of joy, no matter how small, that have held us through difficult times. Close your eyes if you wish for just a brief moment. And imagine that joy as a warm light filling your heart and radiating outward, right here and now, washing over those around you, deepening our connection to one another, and strengthening our resilience. Now, as you open your eyes, we honor all of us for the joy we bring to MVUU in good times and in challenging times, whether it's sharing a smile or a wave from across the room, giving a much-needed hug, laughing through tears, reaching out with a phone call, offering a kind word, taking a moment to listen deeply, to visit a loved one. Maybe you surprise them by showing up to their play. Singing a song, cooking a meal together, or you cook for someone who needs a meal delivered. It doesn't matter whether the act itself seems large or small. We choose to find and bring joy as a deliberate action where it's most needed. And for this, we are deeply grateful. Now, everyone, don't even bother. Just stand up. You're all bringing joy, and you're all getting another ribbon. Do you want to help the kids? We've got another ribbon for you. This one's red. There's a theme. Probably should have started handing these out a few lines ago. Yeah, pass them around. As we pass these ribbons around, I say thank you to everyone here and to myself for all of the joy that we bring to MVUU. These are the best helpers. Once you have yours, you can go ahead and be seated. That way they know where to still hand them out. Oh, that was fast. All right. Our spirit of joy fills our lives, guiding us with light in dark times and grounding us in the beauty of our shared humanity. Let our hearts remain open to life's gifts, no matter the season. And may we carry forward the courage to see joy as a choice, to offer it freely to one another and ourselves. Thank you for bringing joy to MVUU.
Howdy, y'all. The Fall Festival is fast approaching and we need your help. We want to make it a day filled with laughter, fun, and community, so we're looking for volunteers to help with games, setup, and activities. Your time can bring joy to so many. If you can't volunteer, consider donating. We need supplies, decorations, and treats for the kids. Every contribution, big or small, helps. Let's give our kids a festival day to remember.
And what are you excited to go to our fall festival?
Scan these QR codes or talk to Stacy to find out what you can do. See you there.
We are grateful for those who create connections. As a people of faith without a doctrine or a creed, we base our religion on building bridges across divisions. We are inspired by those who reach out and unite people even through difference. And so it is that Unitarian Alexander Graham Bell was one who created connections. As the inventor of the telephone, obviously, he greatly impacted the connections in our world today, drawing people together across vast distances. Now, while that is really impressive, it's actually the connections that he created during his lifetime that we find even more inspiring. Bell's mother suffered from a deepening hearing loss when he was a boy, and he used to tap out a code they had worked out on her hand or speak directly and distinctly into her forehead so that she could understand what was happening in the family. He became so focused on communicating with her that it became his life's work. The telephone was a byproduct of his passion to integrate the deaf community in society, which he did in Boston during the 1870s. One of his students, Helen Keller, that noted activist for the deaf community, she dedicated her autobiography to him, writing, "To Alexander Graham Bell, who taught the deaf to speak and enabled the listening ear to hear speech from the Atlantic to the Rockies." She said that he dedicated his life to bridging the inhuman silence which separates and estranges. Hers is a unique recognition. It's of the connection by the person being connected with. And so instead of offering you a ribbon to keep for yourself, we'd like to give you an opportunity to have a ribbon to give to another person. Would you all hand out the next set of ribbons? They're the blue ones, creating connections. Yeah, you guys know how to do this now. You don't need anybody else. Don't take them, but don't take all one person there. That's good. That's good. You don't have to stand, but you do have to look across this circle. And maybe you're going to meet eyes with somebody and you get to smile at them and wave. And what you're seeking is a person that you are going to exchange that with after the service. You can just tuck it, for holding's sake, in your name tag. You don't have to know this person's name, because they're wearing a name tag today. You can just walk up and say, we're creating connections. And that's all you have to do. It's not any more than that, but maybe it feels like a moment to actually have a conversation, to meet somebody new, to learn a new name or a new face. You see, you bless us as you create connections across all of our differences. And this is how we create a larger community of individuals who are still deeply united. Thank you. To live this out, the Arizona Faith Network has invited our congregation to a statewide interfaith prayer vigil for safe and secure election tomorrow, 6:30 to 7:45 via Zoom. You can join with people of faith in Arizona for a 2024 prayer vigil, an interfaith gathering to lift up prayers and reflections as we approach this critical election. Leaders from various faith traditions will offer prayers for peace and unity and healing and the well-being of our communities and our nation. We invite you to participate in a sacred time of collective reflection with these highlights: a blessing and a land recognition, prayers for peace and leadership and unity. Maybe Maggie will be there. Reflections on civic engagement and for the common good. Don't take Maggie away, though. Meditative music and moments of silence for reflection, all are welcome as we unite in prayer for a just and peaceful election. Spanish interpretation and American Sign Language services will be provided. Use the information in our most recent newsletter to pre-register with Arizona Faith Network and receive the Zoom link.
It is my great pleasure to welcome Christine and Grace back for two lovely little pieces from J.S. Bach.
Thank you. I am grateful for our Unitarian Universalist heritage. Serving congregations alongside you all, members, guests, friends, children, is my vocation, my life's work. I believe it is saving work that we do together, not in the sense of that saving from some sort of original sin. That's not what it's about. But that the world can be more joyful, that we can be more connected, that this can be more loving than what we are currently experiencing that it is. We have many famous individuals. Christopher Reeve Superman is one of my favorites. We have exemplified this in our Unitarian Universalist history. And we are inspired by other cultures, by other faith traditions, in our seeking to transform our lives and the world. And yet, I've always felt that our faith isn't in the past. It's invented each and every day in our congregations. You see, we've inherited a faith that puts its ongoing creation in our hands. And we create Unitarian Universalism not with our beliefs, but with our relationships and our choices and our actions. We do it. How does that feel? It is in your hands, not in someone else's. It's in your hands, a tradition that brings joy despite hardship, a faith that seeks connections across divisions, a congregation that creates what we need it to be, and what our world needs it to be now. So as I invite the children to pass out the ribbons, take one. Unitarian Universalist heritage. You guys are troopers. It's the white one, yeah. Yep. Take one if there is a famous Unitarian Universalist who has inspired your choices. Take one if you have allowed your faith, our faith, to guide and to change you. Take one if you would join with this congregation in crafting justice and dignity, the dignity that our world needs right this moment. Thank you. You have blessed us by practicing and living our Unitarian Universalist heritage, by making us a living faith tradition.
I am inspired by the great body of Unitarian Universalist hymnody and songs and wonderful material that has come together. So many incredible singers, songwriters, composers, lyricists represented in this book and the Teal hymnal that we also use on some mornings. But you also get a chance coming up on Wednesday of this week. Yes, Tuesday is the potluck and the party. Wednesday we are having a community sing to celebrate our community and to celebrate the ways in which we come together in a community, both locally, across the town, across the state, and all across the world. Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock, we're having a post-election night sing. It'll be right here, Wednesday evening, 6:30. Yes, that's choir time, so if you come for that, I know you can come to choir. But I'd seriously love to have everybody come and be here. And one of the greatest ways I know to inspire community is to sing together. Wednesday evening, 6:30, right here. And I'm very much look forward to hearing all of you sing. I love that this is a singing congregation, and this Wednesday gives us a chance to come together and sing together even more. And I'll see you all there.
We are grateful for the journey into the unknown. Facing the unknown is one of life's most universal and most daunting experiences. The unknown holds both fear and potential, asking us to step forward even when we cannot see the path clearly. In the face of uncertainty, we may feel small, vulnerable, unsure. Yet these moments also invite us to grow, to trust, to discover strengths we may not know we possess. As Unitarian Universalists, we embrace this journey with courage, open to the unknown as part of our spiritual and communal life. So let's take a moment together to gather courage. Close your eyes if you wish. Feel the steady weight of your body connecting to your chair, to the ground. As you breathe in, imagine a warm light of courage growing in your heart center, linking with the strength of those around you. With each breath, this shared courage expands, connecting us and reminding us we are not alone as we face the unknown. When you're ready, open your eyes, carrying this strength forward. As our troopers pass out the last ribbon of the day, I invite you all to take a ribbon in honor of our collective facing of the unknown. We who can welcome change without knowing exactly where the path will lead. We who sometimes must make our difficult decisions without knowing how they will look. We who do our best to live with conviction and intention together, journeying into the unknown. May we continue to find courage in the face of uncertainty. That in this copy. Live theater. I'm going to go back. Pardon me. We skipped a section of that. I meant to tell you all about Reverend Egbert Ethelred Brown. He was the first Black Unitarian minister, but his path was lined with adversity and challenges. He faced countless unknowns throughout his life and journey to ministry. He had to fight to gain acceptance to Meadville Theological School, and although he did ultimately complete his studies there, he shared receiving a letter from Meadville's president saying that there were, quote, no colored Unitarian churches in America, and that at that time, no white white church in America was likely to accept a colored man as its minister, so the school could not hold out prospect of assignment after graduation. And yet, he continued his pursuit anyway. And he went to eventually establish a Unitarian congregation in Harlem. Brown continued his ministry despite racial discrimination, numerous obstacles, and even supporting himself as an accountant for a period of time, staying true to his beliefs and convictions even when the future was unclear and unpromised. In embracing the journey into the unknown, we reflect on the life of Reverend Egbert Ethelred Brown, whose perseverance amid adversity exemplifies our shared path. Although this is just a small piece of his journey, his story encourages us to trust in our collective strength and resilience as we navigate life's challenges, fostering a spirit of community and hope in the face of the unknown. Now jumping back to where I was before. May we continue to find courage in the face of uncertainty. May we trust in the unfolding journey, drawing strength from our shared community, and may we face each new day with openness and hope. Thank you.
They have done a wonderful job. And you are all welcome to stay, or this hymn, you can go with Miss Stacy and back to the nest. Oh, I'm sorry. And of course, Dawn gets to say something first. Sorry, Dawn.
I thought you were kicking me out.
No.
So let's talk about All Souls. All Souls procession occurs today. So the rain is a cleansing from my spiritual path, clearing the path for us to go on a journey tonight, to carry the souls in the Sonoran Desert. So what do we do if it rains? We grab our umbrellas, we make sure we dress appropriately for the coolness that Reverend Matthew mentioned, okay? To walk with our people in the greater community, to carry in a journey the individuals who have passed before us, either two-leggeds or four-leggeds, okay? We're going to carry them home tonight. Gather with us no later than 4:30 around Speedway and Grande as we gather as a community from Mountain Vista. There should be, I think there's going to be maybe 20 of us as we gather with our community, all right? So again, umbrellas, warm clothes, flashlight, be ready to walk a couple miles. I look forward to seeing you all there.
And for all of our journey into the unknown, the one thing that universally holds true is the message of this hymn. It's number 131 in our gray hymnals, one of the wonderful ones by Sally Rogers from our tradition. Rise as you see fit and join us in singing, "Love Will Guide Us."
Guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way, on the road from greed to giving, love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
I have an election prediction to make. That no matter what, no matter who wins or loses, no matter how state constitutions are amended, laws passed by voters or not, this secular faith community will be necessary. MVUU is going to be essential. If you were hoping for something more prophetic, or something with a little more political insight and analysis, hey, I'm with you. I've read and reread all the polls, I've contemplated and meditated on them, and when that didn't reveal much, I turned to all the various oracles that I know. Investigation and intuition revealed this to me. Our congregation, our people, our programs, our place, they're going to be vital in whatever comes. It's not a prediction of doom. It's also not a forecast of fair weather. I don't possess those powers, nor would I want to. I come to my prediction based only on the insight I have of this congregation and the needs, the desperate needs I observe in our world right now. Before I came to serve as your minister, I knew you at a distance. We did a few things together. We did the Tucson Festival of Books, Mary Nell and Pi. I did a couple of memorials for Reverend Ron Ferris and his family. And maybe some of you came to that Justice District Assembly thing we had, where we gathered nearly 300 Unitarian Universalists to experience justice in the Arizona borderlands. So we knew each other. And I saw that whatever this congregation engaged, whatever you focused on, you loved the hell out of it. And then you proceeded to transform not only yourselves, but that issue as well. You brought joy. You created connections. You honored our Unitarian Universalist heritage, and the whole time you went into the unknown. And serving alongside you now for nearly 2.5 years, I've seen it firsthand. I've witnessed our reality. And I'm really grateful for the wisdom of our nominating committee to put the names of the ribbons you have of our shared values down. Our nominating committee really sees themselves more like leadership development team. And more than just finding new leaders among us, they want to prepare you. They want you to bring your joy. They want you to create connections. They want you to be invested with Unitarian Universalist heritage because they know that we are going into the unknown. So thank you, Mary Nell. Thank you, Summer. Thank you, Tom Sawyer. Thank you, Pi. Thank you, Ann. These are people who have served on your nominating committee since I've been here. They want to prepare us as best they can. And so then we can harvest our values with gratitude. You're wearing ribbons that express our values. Yes, they're yours. And yes, you're going to have so many different facets to each one. As they say, when there are 150 Unitarian Universalists, there are easily 200 opinions among them. But you're wearing them today so that we can thank one another for it. So that you on Zoom or watching later, we have some saved. When you come by, we'll make sure you get some. So throughout this month, you can turn to one another and you can see the values that we cherish, and you can just say thank you for bringing them to life. Because we live in a world of sorrow, which desperately needs us to bring joy without denying that the sorrow exists. We do that. We live in a world of division that needs us to create connections that honor all of our differences, and we do that. We live in a world where our living faith tradition, it grows and it changes in response to human needs. We are alive and we are thriving. Because we need to go out there into the unknown, into the confusion, bringing the clarity of all that we do together and all that we do to heal it, and all that is to come. In all that's to come, no matter what happens on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or whenever this election cycle comes to an end, we and our world needs Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist. May it be so, as we choose to live it together.
You may have noticed there's extra singing on the service this morning. And I once again want to repeat, Wednesday evening, 6:30. Bring cookies to share if you like, or just bring your voices. Come and sing. Wednesday evening at 6:30. But let's stand one more time and finish out with hymn. It's the song number 128 in our Singing the Living Tradition hymnal. Also on screens, for all that is our life, we give thanks.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life 'tis a gift, for which we are called to use, to build the common good, and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. All that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use, to build the common good, for make our own days glad.
So many pages. Okay. All right. I think so. Lots of wrapping up to do. Okay. Our annual theme this year is Don't Fear the Future. It's a bold statement which invites us to recognize our fears, but not get stuck in them. Instead, moving through our fears, we will engage, love, and transform the future. We fulfill this, our congregation's mission, in many ways, including with our woven basket. Our partnership for the month is Emerge Center Against Domestic Abuse. So as you leave our sanctuary this morning, you'll find the wooden bowl and the woven basket. A wooden bowl is for our financial offerings to support the work of our congregation, and the woven basket is for your gifts of support for our justice partner this month, Emerge Center Against Domestic Abuse. Emerge believes together we can build a community where every individual lives free from abuse. Beyond the traditional approach of providing survivors with resources, including emergency shelter, safety planning, and domestic violence education, Emerge engages the entire community in addressing the underlying cause of abuse. Why? Domestic abuse is a community problem, and we believe that our communities are the solution. All of your gifts in our bowl or basket will be gratefully received. All right, quick wrap up of the week. Here we go. Tonight, please don't forget, talk to Dawn and Sally if you have any further questions about the All Souls procession this evening. As we have heard, we have 3 election outreach events lined up for before, during, and after election night. The Interfaith Prayer Vigil online Monday, led by the Arizona Faith Network. Our Celebrate Democracy Party here on Tuesday, led by Jane, Conrad, Grace, Joel, John, and Cheryl. And then the next night, Wednesday, we will celebrate community here, led by Chris and our choir. I will be there. Join one, join all, bring your friends and neighbors. As we release the flame today, I will share with you a piece entitled, May We Go Forth from This Place. It is by the Reverend Charles A. Howe. May we go forth from this place, thankful for the life that sustains and renews us, and open to the grace that surrounds and surprises us. May we go forth from this place with openness and with thanksgiving.
I threatened to invite Grace and Christine back up. Please, come on, you can do one chorus. You don't often think of oboe and harp as jazz instruments, but they do quite well. And just as we sang a little bit ago, love will guide us, we also know the feeling that the blues will guide us.
Thank you.